A very good morning to all of you. I've been told by the organizers to mix this up in English and Hindi a little bit, so I'll try my best. I'm of course here with Aditya Pitti साहब जिन्होंने ये किताब लिखी है विकसित भारत इंडिया एट 2047 published in 2025. Before starting off, I think first of all, welcome. I just heard you saying that you've come back, what is it, after 30 years to Kashmir. So before starting off and going to the content of the book, why don't you explain to our younger audience, to ये जो बच्चे यहाँ पर हैं और नौजवान जो हैं, कि असल में विकसित भारत क्या है, इसका मतलब क्या है, ये आइडिया कहाँ से आया, before we start on the book.
So thank you. I'm delighted to be here at the Kashmir Literature Festival in Srinagar. I thank the organizers, Yuvraj ji, all the other team and the sponsors. And it's really a pleasure to be in Srinagar after 30 plus years in beautiful Kashmir, which is the crown of Bharat. So it's a pleasure to be here. So at the beginning, I think it's important to understand what is Viksit Bharat. So for the students and the youth here, the literal translation is developed India. But you must know that today the definition of a developed country comes from either the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which defines a developed country based on just one metric, which is per capita income. So if today a country has an income in excess of approximately 15,000 US dollars, 1.5, it's classified as a developed country. However, the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister was much bigger and much more holistic than this. So when he speaks about Viksit Bharat, we are speaking about something much bigger. Obviously, it means we have to hit this per capita income target. But it also means a Bharat where every citizen has access to world-class infrastructure, world-class education and health facilities. We do it in a sustainable manner while protecting the environment. And we also ensure that nobody is left behind. This is in fact fundamental and rooted in a concept called Antyodaya, which was made by Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. And again, the literal translation of that is last man standing, the upliftment of the last man. So this is, our vision is much more holistic and not, as per the Western definition, which is just single faceted. So that's what Viksit Bharat is. And my idea was, can we tell a story of Viksit Bharat through data and numbers? That's why the book is very big. And I always believe that, if you do research, you have data and numbers, all of you all are students, then it's very difficult for people to challenge you. When it's no longer my opinion or your opinion, the numbers speak for themselves and they have authenticity. I always quote, there is a quality guru, I run a manufacturing business as well, called W. Edwards Deming. And his quote is, "In God we trust, rest must bring data." So it's literally based on this concept.
Okay, that's thank you for explaining. And थोड़ा सा अगर हम पीछे जाए, आई थिंक मेरे ख्याल में जो पहली बुक डिस्कशन थी, in that General Saab during his discussion he said Viksit Bharat is not guaranteed. I hope you pick that up. तो आप अपनी किताब में लिखते हैं कि because you're talking about India becoming the current status is around, what is it, a little bit below 4 trillion, and you're talking about India getting to a 30 trillion economy with an GDP of or a per capita income of a bit more than $18,000. And General Saab just said Viksit Bharat is not guaranteed, जबकि आप ये कह रहे हैं कि 30 trillion will reach comfortably. So how do you pitch in that?
So, I'll explain it very simply. Again, I like to explain this carefully to students. And I'm a person from, a data science background. I went to MIT and that's how we think. So just to give you a context, today India's economy is approximately $4.3 trillion. We'll not go into the very much details of since the West Asia war, dollar has gone up, all that. Roughly we are 4.3 trillion today. And in 22 years, if we have to cross 30 trillion, 30, this means that India has to grow year on year, what is called compounded average growth rate of about 9.2%. This also, there is a concept in economics, this is called nominal GDP growth rate. If you delete inflation rate, it gives you the real growth rate. So today always, India typically is 3-4% inflation, which means that India has to grow at 6-6.5% every year real GDP growth rate to hit this target. Now this is very easily achievable. Even in all the global conflict and headwinds that we have today, India is already growing at 6.5%. In fact, in the financial year 2026, we are going to be closing at a growth rate of more than 7.4%. So that's why I'm saying that we can easily achieve this growth rate if we continue to do what we are doing, accelerate the pace of our transformation and development, and I feel it can easily be done. 2 points here that it's not something unique. Other countries in Asia especially have done this. So Japan did this, South Korea did this, China did it. In fact, they did it with higher sustained growth rates over a longer period of time. So it's quite easy for India to do. And in a lighter but more realistic way also, I would like to say that presently what's happening with the United States and all the disruptions they are creating, I honestly believe that they are accelerating our pace of growth, our pace of reforms. And I wrote an article a few months back saying it was a bit cheeky, but I still said it, that India should soon send a thank you note to the President of the United States for helping us accelerate our Viksit Bharat plans.
और as you mentioned earlier, आपने जो बोला कि आपकी किताब में there's a lot of research and data, and then you have tried to simplify that into understanding for people who are not that well averse with economics and GDP per capita income. So this audience, of course, here is young. How would you like to explain to them to understand your book, which has a lot of data, which has a lot of numbers, into their own lives, because they will be, our age maybe at 2047.
So a couple of things, in the book, I've broken it into 20 chapters covering these different aspects of India: economy, infrastructure, defense, social, cultural, all of that. So, and I'm also trying to, although it's very data rich, I've tried to make it easy to read. Every chapter has a hypothesis, it has a analysis of what is happening, it has a roadmap, vision, targets, as well as policy recommendations. So I think it's a very easy book to go through. Obviously, it's not a fiction novel that one will be able to read cover to cover very easily. But I think you can, keep picking up this book and diving into chapters or topics that interest you. Each chapter is quite easy, I think, to get through. But it's pretty interesting reading and also reference reading. The second part of what I was asked is in fact more dear to my heart. One of the prime reasons for writing this book was to inspire people and all our citizens to get confidence in Bharat. We won't achieve these targets merely by policies and other things. Once you have this self-confidence that things can happen in our country, this is what will drive India to greatness. So I've used a term there called everything is possible mindset. This is very important to get. The other thing is to inspire everyone to do something for nation building. So I'm hoping that people who read this book also get inspired to do something small for nation building. I honestly believe that it's a collective effort that will get us to our 2047 targets. 10 people sitting in New Delhi or 50 people sitting in New Delhi alone will not get us there. We must all contribute. This is our national mission, and we must all get behind it. I especially talk a lot to students in colleges, and people automatically ask me that what can we do? So, if you come forward and do something big, that is wonderful. But if not, even small things, we come, I live in Pune, I also spend a lot of time in Delhi. Traffic is chaotic. Now, even a small thing like following traffic rules, not jumping the red light signal, not driving on the wrong side of the road, according to me, is nation building. Because if we all did it, you can imagine what a huge transformation this is. So I'm hoping that you all get inspired to do something right from something this small to something big for nation building, and that's how we will build this Viksit Bharat.
That's a very good point you made, and just to इसको थोड़ा सा emphasize करने के लिए, sometimes I get very sad by looking at, for example, the Dal or other tourist places in Kashmir where we don't have maybe yet acquired that civic sense, of not jumping the red light or throwing out trash, outside of a trash bin. But coming to Kashmir, आपने शुरू में कहा कि you have come back after 30 years, and now you're here to discuss your book in Kashmir. You're talking to the majority of it, youngsters from Kashmir. How do you see Kashmir in this mission in your book in Viksit Bharat 2047, and how do you especially see जो नौजवान नस्ल है कश्मीर की, इनके लिए आप क्या जो रोल है वो क्या देखते हैं?
So, to reach Viksit Bharat targets, first of all, the term is Bharat. So every state needs to contribute, every state needs to develop. That's how India as a whole will develop and reach our targets of 2047. So Kashmir has a vital role to play. One of the things is we are all aware that tourism etc. is one of the primary businesses in Kashmir. However, I believe that what the youth must start looking at is building businesses, startups etc. Today, technology allows you to build things sitting anywhere in the country. As far as technology goes, the kind of whatever you're building doesn't matter where you're located. So I think there is a potential for the youth here to build businesses. I have recently been focusing my attention to talk about MSMEs. I'm calling it MSMEs for Viksit Bharat. And I think it's important for the youth to think about becoming job creators rather than just job seekers. And according to me, startups are just a part of MSMEs, micro, small, medium enterprises. And there is a big potential to know this, because small enterprises can be built across the country. They can become, employment creators across the country. So there's a huge potential. Today, a lot of these schemes, etc., of the government of India supporting many businesses. One of the sad things is that there are a lot of schemes and incentives. You will have to dive a little deeper into these websites and understand, because there are lots of things that the government helps with, including financing, low interest loans, etc. And host of opportunities are available if one is interested and one looks into it. Today, MSMEs, just for your information, contribute 30% to India's GDP. So they are the backbone of India's GDP. I also believe that they are going to be the growth engine of India's GDP to get us to the 2047 targets. Today we have about 7.8 crore registered MSMEs on the Udyam platform. So this is massive. Anybody can register there. And there is a huge potential for people in Kashmir also to start small enterprise.
And apart from tourism, of course, which took a bit of a hit after Pahalgam, many people बहुत से लोगों ने invest किया था tourism में, and things are picking up. But after Pahalgam, naturally, it dropped down a bit. Apart from tourism, आपको क्या लगता है मतलब what in which industries in which manners can Kashmir also contribute, which is apart from tourism, so that we can diversify, of course, our contribution.
You know, it's my just a cursory understanding of what is happening here in Kashmir. But there's a lot of potential around, agriculture, food products, fruits, etc., processed things. So this has a huge potential. I also don't see why tourism can't be extended to health. You know, why not top level spas here? We have them in Uttarakhand and Himachal. You could start looking at health spas. Things like this are ideal for Kashmir. And again, what I mentioned earlier, you know, for the youth who are looking at technology startups, once you have an internet connection, then it doesn't matter in which part of the country you're located. So I think in that sense, it is a great equalizer. I think one of the things that even I will recommend to the leadership in Delhi is to look at starting a few more incubators, tech incubators in Kashmir. I know we have top institutes now in Jammu like IIM, etc. But this is something I will point out to the leadership that can we look at starting more tech incubation centers like the Atal Incubation Center and others, which will handhold students, you know, guide people doing startups, and will, at least encourage them to try something new.
अभी तक मुझे कोई पर्ची नहीं आई है कि आप जल्दी ख़त्म करें, तो इसलिए जस्ट इंस्टेड ऑफ मी मैं सवाल जवाब करते रहूँ. आई जस्ट वुड लाइक टू ओपन द फ्लोर फॉर अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस. इफ एनीवन हैज़ एनी, किसी के पास भी कोई सवाल हो तो आप बताएं ज़रूर. Please. Or that is. Wait. Was trouble. It's got no student mechanism on my wages. But the junior. Last one good.
Assalamu alaikum to all of you present over here. I, Umar Rashid, studying in Lyceum. I want to know how youth get benefited from Viksit Bharat.
In fact, this is a story for you. I'm 54 years old. I tell the students all the time, जब देश विकसित होगा 2047 में, you know, I'll be much older, and it's y'all who will be benefiting. Imagine, you know, you fast forward 22 years and you imagine yourself sitting in a developed country like the Western world. तो आपके लिए ही benefits हैं. And when the country goes from 4.3 trillion to 30 plus trillion, you can imagine the kind of potential of growth there is for any business, anything that you're involved with, you know, with that scale. And in fact, I always tell the students that in a few years I'll be asking you, what have you done to build my Viksit Bharat? तो आप लोग को ही बनाने में आपको एक benefits देना.
Sir, thank you. I'll take one more if there is one more. Otherwise, I'll start winding up. Any more questions? No? Okay. So, just to end with this, and I think इनकी बात में बहुत वज़न है, ये कि 2047 में इनकी उम्र तो 70 से ऊपर होगी, बट आपकी उम्र मतलब मिड 40s में होगी. सो अगर इस तरह का कोई माहौल पैदा होता है तो जाहिर सी बात है जो नौजवान नस्ल है उसी का फ़ायदा होगा. और उसलिए आप सबसे गुजारिश ये है, I would like to request you all, although again it's very research based, but it is written in an understandable manner. कुछ ज़्यादा मतलब it's not someone who's trying to show off his writing skills by writing very difficult words. It is made explainable. I would all like to request you all to read this book, understand it, and if you have any questions or you need any advice, I think Aditya Saab would be very interested in guiding you if you send him an email or something.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I would just like to end with one of my favorite quotes from Honorable Prime Minister, which is, यही समय है, सही समय है, भारत का अनमोल समय है. Thank you.
Is a couple. But I want to